Welcome to day 3 of 101 Days of Winter. Today I'll be showing you around the rest of the apartment. Not going to be as entertaining as yesterday's was, if you found yesterday's entertaining. If you did not find yesterday's entertaining, it's going to be about the same. Here are some of my machine head framed photos of my adventures with the band and being a side stage. They are my favourite band by far. Some of the adventures I've had with the band and just my mates who I follow, who also follow the band, have been really probably the funnest adventures in my life. Yes, that is Godzilla, or Gojira. As you probably heard yesterday, I'm not really a weeaboo guy, so I don't usually use correct Japanese pronunciations because I'm lazy. And there is Mothra. And if anybody has ever been to my place before, you will have seen these. My mother's pedophile posters. Well, that's what they're nicknamed as. They're not actually pedophile posters. That's not a pedophile poster, which is the one good thing about the goddamn lounge room. But there's the other one. I remember one of my old friends first saw them, just went, "What the hell?" But yes. Sigh in disgust. Here is my lounge room. There is my exercise bike that I do some limited exercise on because I'm fat and lazy, so I don't do too much. Do try about 15 to 20 miles a day. My Wii U, which I haven't really used much because no games. PS3 games under there. Also my Wii and Wii U games are behind that. Then there's some DVDs and other games there. 2 computers, which I have to make one to then take into my room, so I don't need to watch stuff on my Xbox because angry at Xbox. And then there's more stuff over here. I have a lot of stuff. Clothing, old CD stacker, which I can no longer use because, well, I can no longer use it. Underneath here is my Avengers box set, which, as you can see, lights up. I'm not going to take it out. My Adventure Time backpack. And yes, my weights, more clothes. So many clothes. And then there's cookies, which are going to my auntie's. Some strawberry Freddos, which I think are mine. More chocolate, which isn't mine. CC's, which is mine, but I'm not going to eat because I've lost the taste for CC's. So yes, and oh yes, more stuff over here. My old stereo. Other things. In that bookcase or case there, more DVDs. Heaps of DVDs. Probably should have turned the light on for this. Oh well, that light didn't make much difference. But yes. Hi. If you would have looked carefully enough at that footage, you would have figured out that footage was shot yesterday. Hint, it's where you look at where the clothing is, because the shirt on top of the pile is the shirt that I'm wearing today. Because if I would have recorded that footage shirtless, you would have been all blinded by the light of lens flare that would have come off my boobs. But yes, that footage was shot yesterday for the purpose of today's video, because if I would have put it in yesterday's video, the footage would have been so long. So now, on with the rest of the video! Today's shirt is Oh, as you can see, it's Ed Stark doing the Weather Channel. As you can see, winter is nearly going everywhere. So, one of my Game of Thrones shirts. Today's movie is American Pie, the first one. Really, the only good one when you go back and rewatch a lot of the other ones, especially the offshoot ones. But of the main four, really only one that can kind of hold any weight, as in terms of replayability, and then actually holding up over the years. Not as good as you remember it, but still, the other ones are just crap if you go back and watching them. Number 2 has one quote which is overused by a certain friend of mine, but apart from that, number 1's the best. Used to call one guy I know shitbrick a lot, even though it's shitbreak. Shitbrick just is better, because it sounds like, okay, you're essentially shitting a brick, rather than I have to go on a shit break because I have to go home. And it's implying you have to go home because the shit is just that enormous that you have to go home and you can't do it in a public restroom. It's one of the things where the viewer comes up with probably a better story than the actual original writing. Brought to terminology the MILF. Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It's up to you to probably decide that. But I remember it was one of the first films that I went to go see in the cinema, where it was me and the group of friends that I went and saw it with. We went back and saw it the next week. That was the start of a lot of, okay, this movie was that funny. Of course, we were teenagers at the time, so we thought the movie was probably funnier than it actually is. But we went back and watched it multiple times. I think we did this with a couple of others. A couple of those others are going to be on this list, so I won't say their names. But really funny movie when I was growing up. I think everybody who was around about the target demographic for that movie found it funny. Of course, you're probably going to get some people who didn't find it all that funny, but I did. And one other thing, Alison Hannigan in this movie really wasn't that attractive. She was probably the one that was the least attractive out of all of them. And holy crap, did she get really hot in the successive movies and other things that she's been in. I think they did a really good job to make her look not as attractive as the others, in such a way where when a penny dropped, I guess, even though that was me clicking my fingers, you're like, holy crap! So, kudos for that. Well, I guess that's it for today. I'm going to go exercise on the bike that I showed you before and either play some FIFA or watch some of the TV that's on my recorder. So, have a good day.